Are you kidding me? You all know Kay plays for keeps. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. Listen, I was in my travels and I ran into some tea that involved K Michelle. Now, I ain't talked about Kay since the show actually went off. This last, when the season ended and her reality show went off. So Kay's been kind of flying under the radar. She's been doing some other little things pop up here and there. Well, okay. All that mess with Joseline that actually was going on. For some reason, I missed the fact that Kay and Joseline, I guess, are not cool anymore. Let me start at the beginning. Okay, so I'm believing that I seen some video footage, and I'm thinking that they were actually at Puffs and Petals, which is K Michelle's restaurant. I'm so glad to see that she actually has gotten Puffs and Petals up and running. It looks really gorgeous. Exactly the way that she said that she wanted it when we were watching on the reality show. So I'm totally here for that. So proud of her. But anyway, besides all that, okay, so let me tell you who was there. Shekinah Joe, y'all know her, Tiny's friend. She was there, and Shekinah Joe was the one stirring the fucking pot, okay? Mona, Scott Young was there, and they're just like all kicking it and everything. And Shekinah was actually going in about Joseline and how Joseline is trying to come against Mona and basically attacking Mona's character and saying that Mona didn't pay her and that they owed her like $150,000 and all of this kind of carrying on. So Shekinah Joe was saying, Mona don't do that. That's not who Mona is, and how dare her try to, warp her brand by saying that, because everybody who gets checks from Mona gets their checks. So K Michelle came in and she basically just co-signed. She co-signed and basically just said, she's learned so much from Mona. She really doesn't spend enough time thanking Mona for the things that she's actually done for her. And the business things and all the business savvy that she's actually learned. And she continued on later about, watching Mona and following in her footsteps and how it's all worked out for her. So I was kind of like, okay, it threw me because, Joseline and Kay were so cool. I would think that Kay would have just kind of been quiet and just didn't say anything. And Mona was like laughing and, it was, some old shady shit. It was what it was. It was cute. it was some real nice, thick fig tree shade, honey, toward Miss Joseline. So, I don't already told y'all, I think that Joseline is losing her goddamn mind. But whatever, Joseline, continue on wanting to attack Mona. If you want to, go ahead, girl. I don't think it's going to go well for you. But anyway, so Joseline ends up coming back and she's tweeting. She, basically kind of like calling Kay a rat and kind of saying that she's above Kay and Kay's below her, the normal. Everybody's below the Puerto Rican princess and all that bullshit. Well, y'all know Kay don't lie down and play dead. She don't do that. So Kay actually came out and she ended up basically dragging Joss. I mean, and Kay's just like my kind, honey. She's like a mean, vicious fag when she wants to be, honey. She gave Joseline the goddamn blues. You hear me? She went on and on more about Mona and Mona's credibility. She went and literally demolished Joseline's character. Baby, she called her a Puerto Rican crackhead. She talked about her doing coke. She talked about her trying to make her house into a trap house. Kay even went in on Joseline's music, baby, and told her that she need to leave that music alone, honey. Child, the worst part, talked about she talked about the baby's goddamn hair. I said, no, you know, the last person that said something about somebody's baby's hair, that shit didn't go so well. But Kay didn't even give a fuck. Baby, she said some shit about you ought to spend more time combing that pretty baby's hair instead of having her looking like that as opposed to somewhere snorting. Child. Kay went all the way in. You know how Kay do. And it was classic Kay Michelle. She goes in. That's what she does. But I was just unaware of the fact that I thought her and Joseline was still, you know, on good terms and cool. But I guess they're not. So, this is what I got in my travels, baby. I slid on some dirt. I'm going to keep my ear to the ground, honey. And I'll let y'all know what I hear, honey. Later.